we do have the ST legend, the Evo winner from what, Evo 2002 and Battle by the Bay 5. Yes, I did my research. We have Jason AfroCole here. How are you doing, Jason?
Doing great. What's good? Blacktastic. How's it going? Thank you
That's
for inviting me to the show.
Hey, no problem. But just
Yeah,
want
you're our honored first guest.
Yeah, that's what's up. Thank you for having me, Katie. That's
Most
what's up.
definitely.
Hey, just want to ask a couple of questions, man. You just came off from a recent ST Tournament of Legends qualifier at Winter Brawl, and you came out as the undisputed champion. So how was that?
Actually, it was pretty fun. We had like a lot of good old guys there. Arturo Satchel was able to stream it, so we actually had some really good, clear like streaming going on with ST. Got to get my run back on Mars Gotti, who was fighting me in the grand finals. He actually beat me in the took me out in the first tournament legends at Evo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chan put me in losers. We played an amazing Camby, and then Mars Gotti ended up taking me out. And I was like, okay, because he really stepped up his game. Right before that tournament, it was me, him, and Damdai were doing some sets over at Mars Gotti's place. And we were really breaking down the match. And when it came down to Evo, he stepped it up and got me. So it felt good to run it back on him.
Oh, okay.
I bet, man. And so you're in Atlanta right now, just chilling for final round.
Yep. Just here, kicking and relaxing with some family and getting ready for all the excitement that's going on in final round. You know, looking forward to stepping up my commentating because, I'm trying to put that out there that, just like sports, all us ex-players need to start commentating, just gives more flavor to what's going on, getting into the minds of these players.
How are your pools looking for final rounds?
Honestly, I have not looked, but I'm gonna be.
He ain't worried.
Yeah, I got a new bodyguard for Dawson, so people are gonna have to deal with that. I got Honda as that secret weapon.
Oh man, well it ain't secret anymore now that people are tuning in. However,
I know, it's all good. Let them bring it. I still got blind select on my side, so they gotta pick and choose what they want to counter pick.
but man, hey, and that's the crazy thing. You're still developing tech and matchup knowledge after all of these years. And what me and Katie were actually talking about was our first tournament experience. And I know you go way back. So you want to just share with us a little bit of history on your first tournament experience?
Wow. First tournament experience. Let's see, it goes back to actual World Warrior. And my first tournament experience was at a donut shop. And it was actually a qualifier for one of Capcom's main events and stuff. It was like a prelim. So these guys were doing a bunch of little side tournaments at at different arcades and donut shops and 7-Elevens. And I went there, and there was 3 qualifiers at my donut shop, and I was kind of like the local champion.
Okay.
And one of my, who's still one of my closest friends to this day, Gerald Guest, it was when first time I met him, and I was playing Ryu at the time. I wasn't even playing Dawson. This is actually the moment that I finally switched to Dawson and realized his power was, the second tournament, because I lost to one of my best friends' first tournament. Second tournament, this guy out of nowhere comes with Dawson, and I'm just thinking, Dawson, oh man, I'm going to trash this guy. I'm just going to rush him down. And, back then, if you put someone in block stun, like doing a cheap reversal was almost like impossible to reverse. Once you got put in block stun, you were getting thrown, you just had to deal with it.
Right.
And for the killing blow, I put him in, finally got him in the corner and put him in block stun, and he reversed it with Dawson and threw me to kill me, and it blew my mind. And I was just like, how did you do that? What is going on? And he's just like laughing. He's like, man, I just practiced that. And after that, I started like really looking into Dawson and became a pretty solid Dawson player.
Okay.
Like after that.
Oh,
that was my
pretty
first
solid,
experience.
right?
Yeah. A little bit. But yeah, good old donut shop, man. That was my first experience of tournament hunger. And after that, I was hooked. I was just going everywhere to travel to play.
Oh man, that's actually pretty great. Katie, you have any thing to add to that?
No, I mean, I think it's great when stories start out, with with the true beginnings. Everything has to start, with like a neighborhood story, kind of thing in your local arcade, like you said, a local coffee shop, donut shop. Some places it's even like the local Dave and Buster's kind of thing. I think it's really good to start, start locally, see how it goes first. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of different back then because I mean, back then, no matter what 7-Eleven you saw, it had a Street Fighter. And so I was so hungry, I would just take my little bike and I would basically ride my bike to all these different 7-Elevens and just start asking people like, who's the best Street Fighter here? What time does he come in and play? What character does he use and stuff? And just try to dominate everybody. And like, I would sit there and that was my mission. Have my stringed quarter so I could sit there and string machines so I could play free. It was too awesome, man.
That's great. That's pretty cool.
Now, let me ask you two questions because you two are obviously from different eras. I mean, Jason goes way back, and Katie, you kind of fairly started, maybe not that far back. So,
right, recently, yeah.
It's a day. What is it? Tuesday, March of 2014. Do you really feel like? Did you ever see yourself like where you are now in the fighting game community?
Honestly, I just saw it as competition on the TV. I don't think anyone ever imagined, when you walk into that small arcade.
Jason, you're.
My bad.
Yeah, you're echoing a bit. All right,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think anyone imagines when they walk into that little mall arcade, and they're squished in the corner playing Street Fighter, or I played a lot of Primal Rage. Whoever would have thought that it would turn? Yeah, whoever would have thought it would turn?
I worked for that
traveling, traveling around and meeting all these different people and people from different countries. And even their different aspects of life and everything. It makes you aware, of so much. Yeah. Such small beginnings. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be more arcades. It's a shame that United States, it's so difficult to keep our arcades really, thriving. Where over in Japan, it seems like it's a real popular thing, but here it's just still not caught on too much.
Hard marketing strategy, but I keep telling this that arcades aren't necessarily dying. I like to look at it like they're evolving because
Really?
Arcades now have kind of evolved to LAN centers that are kind of a combination of the two, or people's dojo houses that just kind of open their place up for the local scene and everybody goes to their place and play. But for the most part, like LAN centers are now you have your computer area, you have your console area, and then you have like a little snack area and stuff. And there's a lot of those around these days that are a lot more profitable as a business model than just somebody going to the arcade and spending quarters. And yeah, it is kind of sad that we don't have those old school arcades, but it is a kind of technology era. And now you go to a LAN center and you have Xbox there with a bunch of games. You can play whatever game you want. And kind of like, start with the scene there. I like to be optimistic about it a little bit. But even in Japan, a lot of the major arcades have died. I mean, sure, they still have Sega Arcade and a lot of like, KSK's arcade and stuff. But I know more amusement closed down, and it was like the saddest thing because that was one of like the hot spots of Daigo back there in Japan. And when that left, it was just like, oh man, even Japan's losing the arcade. What's the world coming to? But yeah, it is the esports era, and LAN centers are pretty apparent out there.
Right.
It's just as hard to manage, I see.
Oh yeah, especially with all that equipment. I mean, you have bills to run and all that stuff. Now, let me ask you. I mean, we even though you like, I think the arcade scene is dying. You think it's evolving. However, I think we can pretty much come to an agreement that the arcade scene is sparse, as in, as in like you can very seldom find one here. There, just about like maybe like half a decade ago, there were like maybe 4 or 5 in Ohio. Now we're down to like maybe 2 or 3.
I know you could find like a local golf land and be like, okay, let me go there and play. But now it's like, oh, it's nothing but ticket games. Like,
Right, exactly. So, how do you think? Because back in the day, you did have arcades, and you have this new blood coming, and spending every coin and quarter that they can get their hands on to play the big guys and level up. But now that we have online, do you really think that alters the way that someone can actually get good instead of like you're online and you're in the comfort of your own home? And you can play whoever you want, and there's no money no money to actually put up besides what you put in for the game in a console. But what about when you're in the arcade scene back then, and you were just faced with pretty much everything and
Every element.
every element, as in like, oh, you're scared, and like people are watching you, and all the psychological factors. So do you really
Yes.
think that it matters that much, or what's your opinion on that?
I think the psychological aspect is definitely night and day. Like, when you went to the arcade, you went to arcade with like $1 or $5, and most of the time, when you got on that cabinet, you did not want to get off that cabinet.
Right.
And you were striving to do whatever it takes to learn, to study. You had, arch rivals and stuff like that. And, other arcades that were near and stuff where people would come over, you never wanted to lose against them. Whereas, you have the online aspect where it's all to your convenience. Once you lose, you can immediately go play again. You don't have to wait, and you don't have the next person, heckling you or talking smack about your style. So, you have nobody to critique you on a regular basis. And, it's just so different. And I would have to say that it's a little, the online aspects, I could say I might be from a different era, but it's a little spoiled because you have too much going for you. And so, everyone just studies YouTube and then goes in there and does their thing. And then, nothing nobody to really reprimand them and stuff, or like to really punish them and show you that this doesn't work. Because, you might lose to this guy online, but then you just get angry that you lost, and then you go about it again. Then you might be 10 people with the same strategy. You're not learning anything, and with the online aspect, the lag makes it a completely different game. You play with different tactics, you take advantage of the latency because there is an actual true latency issue. Like some things you can get away with online that you really can't get away with offline and stuff. So, I really kind of give my information or my advice to new school guys to balance yourself, make sure that you're playing offline just as much as you're playing offline, and, just so you can get that aspect of, educating yourself on what really works, and knowing the having the experience of loss and people kind of heckling you and people that might be better than you, because you really don't know if people are better than you or not, or they just took advantage of lag when you're playing online. So, but at the same time, there's stuff like, in the other genres, League of Legends and stuff, where, they don't have too much latency issues, but, they have this goal that they're trying to reach to. And so, like in League of Legends, you're trying to make it to the diamond bracket and stuff. And so, you're really making sure that you're studying and not making mistakes, and a loss in there really matters. Whereas Street Fighter, the ranking, hopefully with this new Capcom Pro League that they do something in rankings, but it doesn't mean anything. So losing, winning, who cares? It doesn't really matter. But if there is a reason that your rank mattered, it might change their philosophy and way of thinking, where they might start taking it a little bit more serious,
Exactly. Now let me ask you this, and this is probably a silly question, but I mean, again, it's kind of like the convenience on online is kind of too hard to pass up if you don't really have an established scene around you. So do you think you would have been as great as you are now with just online? Like, say you have like no scene around you at all, or just seldom people to play.
Right.
Do you really think you would have devoted yourself to saying, you know what, I'll keep
honestly,
grinding? Or
honestly, I honestly, my true thing, as long as I had friends and a team of players to play with that I was connected to, I think I would have got just as good. If I was just solo by myself, I don't believe I would have, because I don't think I would have stuck around as long.
Yeah.
The difference that made it so good back in the day is that team element. That's why why I'm trying to push the NFGL 5v5 league of mine and stuff, is that teams are so important. You know, back in the day, we were really team NorCal. Like, none of us played solo. You know, if anything defeated us, we would go home as a group and be like, okay, you're playing that character all night, and we're going to figure out counters against that because SoCal just came up here and destroyed us with one character we didn't know about, or and vice versa, you know? And we were so hungry, and then, you know, then it became, you know, East versus West, and, you know, Japan versus United States. It was always a team aspect, even though we're playing an individual game. And so if I didn't have like that group of people to play with and bounce ideas with and philosophize with, I don't think I would have been that good just by playing online solo.
So do you think that you can get as good as you were with only one other person, that you wouldn't have like, I mean, you wouldn't rather have a like a, you know, a scene of like maybe like say like 5, 6, 7?
Oh no, it'd have to be a scene of 5, 6, 7. I was never just with one person just grind. I mean, every once in a while, you know, I was with like one of my boys and we'd grind all night, but we would always bring in other people into the play. You know, there was always a group of us every single time.
All right,
Do
good.
you think part of that's because you start to learn their idiosyncrasies and things like that? And
that's because we dissected the game to the T. Like I said, like when something like confused us or we couldn't beat something, we went home and just grinded out how to beat certain moves and what to do in certain situations, and finding out all these little tricks, and then, you know, keeping them secret for the next tournament, and then blowing people up with it. And then they, you know, and then in turn they would sit there and, oh, did you see what Cole did? Oh man, we got to find a counter to that. Or you see what like Valle did with it, like when Valle and Alpha came out with the trippy CCC. No one knew what was up with that, and he was saving that all the way to like nationals and stuff. And, you know, slowly people started trying to figure out what was about it, what was up with it. And then, you know, eventually, you know, we broke it down, and then everybody started using it. But that's how it was, you know. And that's what I feel that a lot of new players don't do. They don't dissect things, you know. They sit there and they get their combos, they get their offense down, and they don't really study their characters. That's why I feel Infiltration is actually really good, because, you know, he knows so many character matchups, and he sits there and finds counters of things and tries to take advantage of knowledge. And that's what makes him so scary of a player, because, you know, he might not play Kuma against you, you know. And he, you know, you coming in there with just being one character, and if he knows that you only play one character, he has an arsenal of characters to kind of beat you with and make it difficult, when all you're doing is like, okay, I got my tech versus Akuma. Oh crap! Why is he playing a con? Oh, blew it up. You know.
All right, I have someone, Javits actually in the chat asked, do you think it's good to keep secrets for tournament play, or is it better to share what you find and figure out on how to improve upon it or counter it?
There's a kind of a yes and a no to that question. No, you shouldn't keep it from within your peers. The people you play with every day, the people that, you know, you're studying and grinding with, those are the guys you bounce off and you test it with, and you make sure it's a solid strategy. Keeping it from the people that you're trying to take down, yes. You know, you don't reveal your secrets until the last moment, and then you let them figure it. That's a true test of your ability, a player's ability to assess the situation. You know, you're a 2 out of 3 situation. So if I put you into, like, actually, a good example is actually me. I played Yeb for the first time over at Xanadu, the Gen player, the old school Gen player. First time I ever played against him, and I feel like I'm pretty good against Gen, just because I've had experience in Alpha.
Right.
So I was pretty confident going into the match. But in the middle of the match, he put me in a situation that I had never seen before. He got me with this cross up. I was really an okie doke cross up. You were supposed to block it normal, but I was sitting there thinking I was for sure knew how to block it, and it was death situation. It was like, okay, you got me crazy combo. Cross me up again, dizzy, dead. And I was just like, all right, there goes one round. And then, you know, I would clutch second round with a crazy, like, 50% comeback Shangri-La. And then third round, same situation, dead. And it came down, you know, third round. And then at the final round, I finally figured it out and blocked his cross up and was like, but got too overly excited. I was just like, oh, I'm out of the situation. And did one mistake, and he countered me with something else immediately and killed me. But I was like so happy that I blocked it, that I figured it out. But it took a little bit too long for me to figure out, and I lost because of it. You know what I'm saying? If he was going around and sharing that, he would have never got me in that situation. I probably would have blown him up because they're death scenarios. It was like knockdown, you're in the corner, you better know how to block this or you're done.
So when exactly was this situation now?
So he gets you in, Gen's crazy long combo. I feel like if I was like fighting out of the
No,
corner,
I meant when, like actually, like what time, what date?
oh, that was this weekend. That was
Oh,
last weekend at Xanadu. Unfortunately, we didn't get it streamed, so
okay.
it was a great match too.
I have another question from Omega Dark Shotgun. I have a question for you guys. With the announcement of the Capcom Pro League, do you think that can benefit the scene a lot, or is it going to be another failed attempt at esports for the FGC?
Actually, you know what? I'm really excited about it, and a lot of people ask me, almost the same question, like, "Oh, Cole, I know you're doing this 5v5 league. Is that gonna infect it as well?" And I'm like, "No, it's actually gonna benefit it because they're actually working with grassroots tournaments. They're giving a purpose for these players to play, and they're even trying to integrate online. I don't know what they're doing with it, but they're also calculating stats. So I think it's going to be a real beneficial kind of thing for the scene. It's good that the developers are finally getting involved because that's just what we needed. That's what all other esports genres get. The developers involved, sponsors, the players, the TOs, everyone's all in unison. And fighting games, it's been a while, and slowly the developers are coming in. And Capcom doing this, shout outs to Combo Fiend getting in there and really doing some work. But I think it's going to benefit. And I also feel that it's supporting single events. It's really taking single events to the maximum where it should be. And I feel that, another 50% piece of the puzzle is the team league, because teams will help support the few arcades that we have out there, the LAN centers, and it just brings people together to get them more motivated to want to go to these events and stuff. So, I would like to see both leagues kind of marry and really lift the fighting game to where it should be in esports. I think it's going to really benefit.
That's great.
I think that's something too that we need to sort of, see is that for a while there it seemed as if we stopped growing,
Yeah.
And we need to get out and reach more people and even, more casual players. You got to start somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And like we talked earlier, even if that means online or locally or, definitely locally would be better, but
yeah. But at the same time, yes, locally is,
you said.
yeah, like you said, Katie, locally is good, but the thing about online, people need to kind of suck it up and just start embracing it. Yes, latency is bad, but it still is the future. The key word is accessibility. And that is really what we need, accessibility. All these kids being able to be able to participate because, it is kind of hard to get to locations and stuff and get the real life experience and go to these majors and spend all this money when you're not really getting anything back. So if Capcom kind of implements a way for online to be a parent and have the ability to get in there to get like a top 16 and be somebody, I think it's going to help a lot. It's going to be a good thing.
That's great. And especially with this online Capcom Pro League. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rewinding a bit back here. MLG has actually had like a sort of grassroots program for like Super Smash Brothers Melee, and it's going to integrate itself in our grassroots tournaments like the final rounds and the Big E tournaments, and this is just taking it's a small stepping stone, but it's going to be one giant leap for the FGC when it when we actually get a big stage or, get all this viewers and get all this money into the pot, just like everybody had said.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Actually, I just wanted to speak on that too. Just a little history. Like, what I would like to see the FGC evolve to is how the NFL kind of got created. I've been telling this a lot. Before the NFL got created, they were just like the FGC. They had all these different grassroots tournaments and leagues and everybody trying to steal players from the same pot. And then finally they were just like, this is not working. We're not getting anywhere. Mm-hmm. And, they took all the major players and tournament organizers, formed a committee, and now you have the NFL. And I feel that fighting games need to do the exact same thing. But, it's going to take a while because, people like, they spent a lot of time building what they built. But at the end game, you know, we do need to come together in some type of committee and standardize how fighting games are really played in a professional league manner, because
I think that's absolutely true, you know, but one of the keys that we have to also focus on is that when there's a problem, it's like you got to follow the money trail, you know. And we look at some of these companies, it's like they'll sell the game once, and then even though, you know, they might make another version or downloadable characters for, you know, $10, $20, it's like, are they making enough money so that we can, you know, generate, you know? And I know the gamers,
they're not.
Yeah, we don't have enough money really to give to generate either, you know. Yeah. So you got to try to figure out how to do this on a budget.
That's an excellent point, Katie. And I've been telling everybody this. It's the old, even at the developer level, the old developer model of making a fighting game needs to change. The old developing model is, hey, we have an extra budget. Let's try to make a little something for the fans with our brand to the fans and stuff. So they set aside this money, they create a fighting game, and, you know, they already have it planned out, how many versions are going to be and all that, and they try to get their money back that way. But once that is set, there is no way for them to reciprocate that money, you know, so there's no reason for them to start balancing it for tournaments when they're getting nothing back. That's why I kind of stress to these developers that they need to start thinking esports in mind and putting features into their games so that, you know, they can support these leagues and be a part of it. And that is a way that they can start getting money back in order to put aside to balancing the game and keeping it, you know, year long. Because, you know, it's just not practical for any company to sponsor something that happens one time a year. We need a yearly league for them to be like, okay, we can put this into the mix and we can actually get some money back. You know, that's what it's really all about. And so, you know, that's hitting the nail on the coffin, Katie, with that. They need to change, the developers need to change their business models. It's really old.
Exactly.
What's up, Bubbles? Oh, yeah, do your thing. Am I sitting on them myself? When I get on stream, you say hi to everybody. Come over here with my fams. They're all out here chilling.
There we go.
Mo. There's Mo.
Turn around.
Oh no, Dean said you don't want to be on the mic. A little day. Here's a future Street Fighter player right here. She is gonna take it by storm. This is why we're building up the scene. So this future generation right there. Oh, she's out. You guys are important right now.
Teach her the ways of the yoga, man.
Am I sitting on them? I don't know. Let me see. No, I'm bad. So, okay, I'm back on with you guys.
All right, but Stream's been actually coming up with a lot of good questions for you, so I kind of want to get through them quickly.
Let's do it.
Javits again asks, as an experienced player, what do you feel is the best way to overcome a plateau when you feel like you hit a personal limit with yourself or with your characters? Do you think it's better to tough it out or take a break or just learn a new character?
Honestly, my ways of doing it is kind of a 2-in-1 kind of deal. I do take a break, but I take a break by playing other characters, you know, because you need to learn the whole roster. I know there's a lot of characters and everyone's like, oh, there's too many characters to play, but when you start expanding your mind to the difficulties of these other characters and then you go back to your main, you realize that how good you really have with your main. Hi. See, you're ready to play, huh? Again, little advice. She has something to say about that too. She's like, play other characters, take a break, clear your mind, and believe me, when you go back to your character, the only thing on your mind is what works. You know, when you start playing too long, you grind too long, you know, you got too much creativity going on, you try to figure this out, you try to do this, try to do that. But when you take a break for a while and then you come back, you only do the stuff that you know works.
Right.
And so you play a lot solider. Yeah.
All right, Katie, anything to add to that?
I mean, yeah, you know, like I've hit so many plateaus with Vega. It's like I'll do real well, and then for a couple of months, you're just stuck. And then you just want to take that arcade stick and throw it right out the window. You know, it gets so frustrating. Yeah, you know, sometimes taking a break for like a week, or like you said, picking up another character that you think is interesting, or another character that helps fill those potholes. That a good counter character that you can try to pick. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I think that's some great advice. Yeah.
Okay. And Shirayuki asked, and this is kind of piggybacking on what Javits asked. Have you ever had any bad habits in Street Fighter, and how did you break that? And I'll pose this question to the both of you because I really want to get opinions.
I turned my bad habits into a strategy where, I put it to a 50-50 that the person had to get. I had a bad habit where I just was cheap. That's where I got my name Dirty Cole from. Like, I was never like, super fast with combos like John Choi, and I didn't have like I did have super extreme rushdown, but it was with Dawson, like Light and stuff. So, to get around a lot of players, I just had 1,000,001 tricks to throw somebody and just get that mindset in there. And I would do it so much that people would always know I was going for it. And then so I just started switching it up where it was like I just get real close to them and they're like, oh man, I know Cole's gonna throw me, blah blah, and then I do something completely different and blow them up. And now they're just scared. They're like, oh crap, like what's he gonna do? So yeah, I turned my bad habit into a good habit by just alternating my strategy a little bit.
Right, you want to go like the rather unconventional path.
Well, you do something so much that people expect you to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's all Cole does, and that's all I really was doing it. And then, I would wait until like those crucial moments to change it up, and then they're just like, what? Like, oh my God. I'm like, see you in the losers bracket. Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, Katie, how'd you break your bad habits, if you have ever had any?
I still have all my bad habits.
Or what? Or what do you?
I'm not gonna lie.
What is it called? Admittance is like the first step to recovery or something.
Oh man, I try my hardest to get rid of my bad habits, but the more stressed that I am, the more they come out. Like my bad habit when I'm stressed is backflipping. I'll be backflipping all across the screen, for no reason, and that's one of the rules with Vega. Try not to backflip at all / that much, and then I take that and multiply it by 10 because I'll be backflipping like all over the screen. It's just like I can't help it. But that's definitely
change it. Do you feel that backflipping is your go-to for trying to escape?
I'm gonna start giving away some secrets. Like sometimes I might do like a double back, like a focus, and then like a double back, like double dash back, and then I'll hit the double back flip button to like try to escape a throw or a slide or something. But usually with someone with a longer slide, like usually Akuma's or Ryu's, I always get caught. I'll fall, and yeah. So I got to try to figure out some other tricks to get around that.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Or just start throwing people off by alternating the kick between the punch. That's what I know APOC used to do that. He's a very good
I remember APOC.
Vega back in the day. And like all he would use would be kick flip. And so you're always expecting to he's going to kick flip. So it's just one flip, I'm going to counter. And then every blue moon he would do the punch. And then it would make you whiff because he does one more extra backflip, and then he was able to punish real quick and just throwing him off a little bit.
Okay.
All right. I have a question from sorry guys. I have a question from Chauncey Talon here. When you were featured in GamePro magazine, where were you? Were you approached by the editors about an interview, or did somebody submit it?
Oh man, actually that was one of the luxuries of being in Northern California. Everything was there. And so we were actually approached by the editor because he would come to Sunnyvale Golfland tournaments. And eventually, that sparked Graham Wolf actually writing from it for GamePro for a little bit or supporting. And then as well as then eventually myself. And then that same editor, I'm going to say his name is Slasher Quan. Everybody didn't really know him. I'm not going to expose his real name. But that actually spawned off into Versus Books, which a lot of people know about. We started the company Versus Books and started doing the real strategies and stuff. So that spawned from GamePro. Yeah, the editor actually came to us, and we were the best at the time, and they wanted to really support fighting games and stuff, so they came to us.
Man, that's really great, especially someone as big as GamePro at the time, just saying, hey, you guys are good at this game, right?
Yeah, I know they were bringing us to Capcom, and then it was the year E3 first started, and so we were getting into the first few E3s, and it was pretty epic. It was awesome.
That's cool.
That's great. A couple more questions before we actually sign off here.
Okay.
So tell us more about Dojo Sports. I had the little logo right down there because if nobody has ever, as nobody knows, I'm working with him, media producer, PR, and all that stuff. So tell us what this Dojo Sports is all about.
So Dojo Sports is a company trying to bring a 5v5 league to the fighting game community. We call it the National Fighting Game League, and I'm looking to basically mimic NFL style. We got 2 regions at Atlantic Pacific. I want to implement, or we got 2 divisions, each with 4 regions. And, we want to basically bring team play to the fighting game community.
Right.
We want to link teams to arcades, LAN centers, dojo houses. We want to bring back that rivalry. We want to actually bring real analytics to it, because right now we don't really have analytics, and it's kind of hard to kind of rate players and stuff without a beginning and an end. And, where I'm going around currently right now looking for investors and sponsors. We're actually looking to, as soon as we get ready to start a Kickstarter to really push it out to the community and stuff. We just got finished with season 2, which we crowned 4 winners, 2 in the Northwest. They had Tekken Tag up there, Monstroso Gaming won, and we had Street Fighter 4, which Team Afro Dojo won. And then in SoCal, Super Arcade actually won both Injustice and Street Fighter. I know. She likes Dojo Sports as well. And so right now, it's not really funded or invested. It's all kind of personally funded by myself. Yeah, I'm homegrown grad. Looking for people to volunteer, to help out, to really bring this. I want to integrate the grassroots events like let's say final round. If we had our league set right now and there was a league match, I would have gone to Larry to showcase one of the team matches over in final round. And, it'd be like going to a ball game. Like, oh, I'm going to final round, and I get to see such and such team versus this team, and it'd be a reason for it and stuff. And we're also with the Dojo Sports website looking to kind of help promote pro players market themselves and stuff. Because right now, we would like to be the mediator between sponsors and players, because, nobody right now has that. To this day, I can't tell a person how to be a pro player in Street Fighter. There is no rhyme or reason. And so, by us creating like these kind of type of free agents, a player can come in there and make his roster, have his stats, and have his little bio there and stuff. And we can work with sponsors to be like, hey, these are the guys that are really serious about it, and kind of marry the two. Also, we're looking to, work with esports organizations. I've been talking recently to these guys, battlefy.com. If you haven't heard of them, check them out. They're just like, I would say they're the new age challenge.com, but they are fully supported. The team is all about esports and supporting genres, and they're also trying to be the mediator to outside investors and sponsors to kind of help, bring them to esports leagues, tournament organizers and stuff. And so, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is just promoting this 5v5 league. We started with the Northwest. We have the Northwest and the Southwest right now, basically most of the West Coast. Really looking to bring in the East Coast, but we're trying to make sure that right now we're still kind of getting payments done for some of the winners. So as soon as we get things all situated, we're gonna move forward with season 3. But there's a lot of work to be done and stuff. So.
Of course, I mean, you guys are trying to do a bit more than just like what the Capcom Pro League is doing. You guys want to also, institute a sort of ranking system with your website. I mean, like we already had somebody already started. If you guys haven't heard of Kuropi.com,
Yes.
That's basically like it has a few of the the big names, including you, Mr. Cole,
Yeah.
and but for the average player, for the casual guy, you don't really have anything for them at this time.
hmm
So, but I'm really interested to see how that's gonna play out because I mean, with all these, especially new fighting games, and we have a new generation of consoles coming out, so we'll see what fighting developers put out for them. But there's gonna be a lot of new blood rolling in, even more so
Yeah.
than when Super Street Fighter 4, or sorry, Street Fighter 4 actually came in. So, like,
And, and that's right. How we evolve into this new um, system.
Cole,
PS4.
you're cutting out. You're cutting out a little
Uh-oh.
bit.
Uh-oh, my bad.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
guys.
You're fine.
But yeah, with those sports, we really got a nice ELO ranking system. That we have a strong analytics team, as you know, Bobby, and we're looking to work with a lot of other guys that are already doing stats because it needs to be standardized. The wheel does not need to be recreated, and it's going to be too confusing if everyone's doing their own different thing and stuff. So, hopefully we can start working together with a lot of people and really bring in this team element. Because I say this to everybody. Everything in life revolves around teams, whether it's business, school, friends, sports, now esports. It's all about teams, and you cannot do anything solo. And so I stress the fact that like our single events are rock solid. It's 50% of the puzzle. We really need a team league to exist, and I'm hoping to really, get past these challenges and bring a nice structured league to the fighting game community. That's what's up.
That's great. And do you have anything to add, Katie?
I hope it works out. I mean, it sounds like a great, you've got a great idea, and I hope, like you said, you want to try to get the East Coast sort of involved in this. I hope it, turns into a good thing, and then, we'll know, that the guys that are, trying so hard, everyone is actually really, taken care of and everything. I mean, I think that'll be a good thing, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely hear more about that this weekend at Final Round as Jason Isaiah Cole hounds the mic again.
We'll terrorize the mic, dude. Trying to step up my commentating game. Because I feel like we really don't have. We only have four. We have Mike Ross, Gutex, and then we have Dave and James. But we have a huge community from east to west. We need a lot more people to step up commentating. So I hope to add to the flavor. I'm trying to bring APOC to be my partner and work it from there. And I know yourself as well, Bobby, is trying to be up there and commentating. That's what's up.
At least trying, but that's a good point that you bring up about commentary duos and how well they synergize with each other. That it gives off this sort of excellent flavor, for lack of a better word, whenever stream monsters, stream warriors, whatever the hell they want to call them, actually tune in and see, like, along with this really great tournament play, I kind of want this color commentary, or I kind of want this play-by-play. Like, different teams work, different duos work, differently.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, different energies, definitely. Yeah.
So we got a new duo right here, Bobby and Katie. Watch out. That's what's up.
All right, well, Katie, did you have any other questions to ask?
I just can't wait for this this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
Final round is right around the corner.
Around the corner. So hype.
It's gonna be really exciting. Yeah. It's gonna be good.
So you're gonna be there Thursday, Katie?
I'm coming in I think Thursday around 8:00 at night.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll be able to make whatever that, the Capcom Ultra greeting is, and then be ready Friday morning. Yeah. So
Yes.
it'll be good.
Yeah. How excited are you guys for that Ultra Street Fighter 4 location test?
I'll be there. I'm going to be blowing people up with Dawson and making sure Combo Feed knows why he needs more tools. I'm definitely going to be there. It's gonna be interesting. I was messing with the PC mod for a little bit with the standing media kick, and it's just hilarious.
Oh yeah, what happened with that? I kind of skimmed over a couple people's patch
I mean,
notes.
it was cool. It was cool. I mean, you know, you could just try out the old Capcom Cup Ultra Rev, and it has everything in there, and it plays really nice. You can mess with red focus if you want. Delay get up is awesome. And all these old Niners are like, "Oh my God, what about my setups? I can't do this. I can't do that. Oh my God." I'm like, "Oh no, you're gonna have to think. Oh my God." I was like, so I think it's a really good feature. Red focus still seems beta to me. I don't even really see necessary. I see people not using it really well to be getting and just wasting meter. But
well, I mean, since it's not actually commercially available to the public, you know, people haven't really taken the time to actually just sit down with it. You know, they're always on a timer when you know these 4 people, whoever you know located, whoever tested them out, have people bringing down their necks like, "Oh, come on, man, I got next. I want to try out Evil Ryu or you know whatever."
Yeah, I know. Let me try Dan. I want to see his changes. Like, what?
But he gains meter when he taunts. I mean, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I wish they would make him buff like he was in Alpha 2. Alpha 2 was actually a problem. It's like, whoa, he just did 70% damage to me. Okay.
Man.
All right, guys. Definitely thank you for allowing me to be the first guest of your show. That's what's up, Meter Burn.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. You have any last words to say before you head out, Cole?
Everybody, you know, grind outside of just watching YouTube videos, you know, and get a partner. Get a partner and play all the characters. Don't just know about your matchups. You know, your hard. You know your hard matchups. Know your difficult matchups. Know matchups that people never play. You know, like against DJ, because there's going to be a time one DJ player is going to blow you up.
Exactly.
It might be that time you're about to get top 8, and you'll play the one master DJ, and you're like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, and actually, we ran kind of way past our allotted stream time, so I'm just gonna kick it off with some final words. Katie, do you have anything to say?
Real quick, I just want to say the intro song was made by my friend Casey Hall. You know, he's a great prodigy on the guitar, and thank you so much, you know, for making this intro song for us and everything. And, you know, thank you so much for coming on the show, Cole. I mean, it was, you know, great hearing from you and everything. I'll see you in a couple of days. And, you know, thank everyone for joining in, you know, and writing the questions and joining us in the endless lobby there. And I think, you know, because we ran over time, you guys can tune right into the On Blast show is, you know, it's on right now. Yeah, so you guys can shoot off and see how James is doing. And next time we're going to be ending right before his show starts. So, yeah.
So shout outs to the On Blast show.
Oh, yeah. Shout outs to James Fink. Such a great guy. But all right, as for me, guys, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe for next week or probably the week after that. It's going to be on a Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern estimated, and we're sorry for the late start time, but, you know, things get held up. So for Katie, Jason, Isaiah Cole, and myself, the Blacktastic, I am signing off. Thank you for tuning in for Meter Burn. Be sure to subscribe, follow everybody on Twitter. A.k.a. at AfroCole, at Cujo Kate, or Cujo_Kate, and at the Blacktastic. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and goodbye.
Peace.
Bye. Keep it classy, FGC.